There's an organization we work with where there's a leader, he's a vice president, and his name is Jerry. And Jerry's really well known in the organization for something. If you go to talk with him in his office to discuss a business issue or ask a question, Jerry will listen to you while he continues typing and responding to email. So while you're talking, Jerry will give you the customary, yeah, okay, kind of responses, all the while typing away and looking at his monitor. And now, as I said, he's well known for this in the organization. And what's also well known is that all of his direct reports and a lot of other people in the organization find Jerry's behavior annoying and frustrating. And yet Jerry doesn't know this. So for Jerry, this behavior around his email is what we would call a blind spot. Jerry is completely unaware of the negative impact that his behavior has on other people. Now, it's not uncommon for leaders to have blind spots. All of us at times will engage in behaviors and we're not aware of the negative impact it can have on others. And there's two reasons that it's common for leaders. One is that when you're a leader, when you're the boss, it's not typical that your direct reports are going to give you critical feedback about the things that are frustrating for them or difficult for them. That's just not a common thing. And then as leaders, because we're not getting that information, we think, well, nobody's saying anything, so everything must be okay, right? And the second reason that blind spots are common for leaders is that as leaders, we don't ask for feedback on our leadership. So when you take these two things together, on the one hand, people aren't telling us what we need to know, and on the other hand, we're not asking about it. We get these two factors creating a reinforcing loop that ensures that we don't know what we don't know. That is, our blind spots. So if we want to learn our blind spots so we can be better leaders, then we need some mechanisms to do that. And there's three suggestions that I'd give to you. First of all is build the habit of self-awareness in the moment. While you're communicating or interacting with other people, take a step back from time to time. Pay attention to how you're operating and pay attention to the clues that they're giving. For example, what is their body language telling you? What is their facial expression suggesting? What about their tone of voice? And as you gather these sorts of tidbits, you can become more self-aware about ways that you may be impacting people in ways that you don't want to. Think about Jerry. If he just took a step back from his email every once in a while and paid attention to how people are responding to his constant looking at his monitor, he might just start to realize, hey, wait a minute, maybe I need to put the email aside and focus on this person and this conversation. So having self-awareness and developing the practice of that in the moment can help us start to realize where maybe some of our blind spots might exist. The second way to know our blind spots is to start asking for feedback about our leadership. As we said, this isn't common, and yet it's something we can do. A simple question like, what's something as a leader I can work on? And then taking that information and working on it. Or if you want to be more blunt and direct with your direct reports, ask a question like, how can I be a better leader for you? And then we take that information and we apply that. Now, one thing, when you start asking this question though, you can't just ask it one time. It's something that we need to ask over and over because the first few times, no one's going to really have much to say. But as they hear the question routinely and genuinely, then over time, they start to realize that you really want to know and that you're open to hearing the feedback. And the third approach to learning about your blind spots is a 360-degree assessment. A 360, as it's typically called, is simply an anonymous survey that's done with all of the people around you, 360 degrees, your direct reports, your peers and colleagues, your bosses. And then with the information you get through the anonymous survey, that can help you start to understand what your blind spots are. So check with your HR team and see if your organization has access to a 360 assessment that you can do. And here's the cool thing. If you do a 360, you'll not only learn about your blind spots, you'll also hear from people about the strengths that you have and the things that they appreciate about how you operate in the workplace. And so that way you can start to leverage and continue to work on those strengths while you work on those things that before were your blind spots.